Hi, I'm a local hippie. I'm going to be talking about being in a book slump. This is just going to be a pretty chill, just like book talk, because I've been feeling like this. It's been this kind of continual feeling, and not so much about the book slump itself, but things that kind of contribute or that I have found that have been contributing to this kind of long, drawn out book slump. And I think you might be a little bit surprised about this first kind of point, which is reading five-star books and having like a lot of five-star reads at once, because I've been experiencing this. And you don't think that that would be something that contributes to a kind of long suffering um like disinterest in reading, if you will, because that's pretty much what a book slump is a disinterest in reading. And what happened was, I think it was in March, either February or March, whichever one it is. I have to go to my Goodreads and see, but you'll get the actual time frame in which I read these books on the screen. So at that point you just disregard what I just said about the time frame. Is that I read two five-star books in 1 month. Actually, I read three five-star books in 1 month, and the three books were Game of Thrones, All Roads Lead Here, and Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I believe it was in March. Yes, it was in March, which was a month ago, which was more than a month ago, almost 2 months ago, actually. Um, I read three five-star reads in one go, like back to back to back, which was insane. That's insane, because I've never had that happen, and I've been reading for almost 4 years now. I've never ever never had that happen to me. And while it felt so good to read books that really aligned with everything that I love and adore about reading, books that perfectly kind of captured me, um, and transported me into a different world, if you will. Like, it can be overwhelming, because then you start chasing that five-star feeling, because ultimately, isn't that what we read for? We read because we want to read good stuff, whether it's objectively good or not, or whether it's just subjectively good. We want to read things that align with our wants, our needs, our desires as readers. And that's what happened. And it happened three books in a row. And I just did not know what to do with that. To mention, I had just reread Moby Dick. Of course, that's like a 10-star read for me. I just read that in, I think, February, and so that was a 10-star read. That was overwhelming. It was hard to find books that I wanted to read after that. And then to come into the very next month and then have books that were just, chef's kiss, perfect and amazing. You're just like, what in the world? The heck? And it was hard. And so I've experienced a bit of a book slump or book hangover that led into a book slump, because I read some really, really good books. Next would be the polar opposite of reading really good books, is reading really bad books. And that just makes you go, I don't want to, like, because you don't want to run into another book like that. You don't want to run into another book that makes you question why you even read to begin with. You don't want to do that. So that's a little bit self-explanatory, because it discourages you when you're reading a really, really bad book. And of course, if you're like pushing to get through it, let's say you create content yourself, and you have to read, because that's what your content surrounds. And that's going to be the next point. But, back to what I was saying, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to keep, because like you're like, what if I run into another book this bad and then I got to force myself to get through it? the next point is like content creation. If you find yourself having trouble with content creation because you like to make videos, you like to talk about the books that you read, and you're trying to grow a channel, I mean, there's never a more important time than to make sure you're being consistent than when you're trying to build a following, when you're trying to build a community, you're trying to build up this YouTube channel. It's very important that you do read. It's very important that you do stay consistent with book reviews, with vlogs, with this, with that. Whatever whatever kind of bookish content you want to put out, it's very important for you to be doing that consistently. And so I find myself like, sometimes not wanting to read, but just doing it anyway because I know I need to make this video. I want to be able to review this book. I just want to get through it, and you're reading extraordinary amounts at a time. 23 books in a month is crazy. I've done that before. And you better believe I had the biggest, the greatest, the most enormous, the most magnificent, the most spectacular book hangover you could ever imagine. And so, I've been experiencing, for these reasons that I just laid out, I've been experiencing a bit of an extended kind of soft book slump because I am still interested in reading. And if I really, really, really enjoy the book that I'm either reading or listening to via Audible, I'm gonna keep reading, keep listening to it. I'm gonna desire that, but still there's some part of me that's like, I'd rather be doing something else. And it's and things really kind of neutralize on that front, on the content creation front, I should say, for clarity, because I still have a lot of ideas in my head of like things that I could do or why I would do them, to have content continually and constantly flowing. But it's like I definitely am in like this bookish fog of like, there are probably a few other things I would rather do. And then also something that can contribute to this long suffering book fog or bookish fog could be, having other hobbies and trying to juggle those again with having a full-time job or with being a full-time student or with all the other things, the myriad of just facets in life that could pop up and just be in the way of you reading as much as you probably could want to. Um, because life is just so full of just everything, And so I just kind of wanted to talk about that because it's been on my mind for a while lately. Um, because that's how I'm feeling about reading. I guess I don't really have that same zeal that I usually have for reading, and for finding new books and for giving new books a chance. And another thing that happens in the bookish fog is what that's what I'm going to call it. Um, is that you know you want to read things with which you're familiar. So I've been reading Harry Potter again. I just finished The Sorcerer's Stone. I think I'm going to do a review on that. I just read The Sorcerer's Stone. I'm going to go through the whole series again and then I'm going to watch the movies to compare them because I love to do that. Um, but I'm going back to it because I love that series. That series is like a 10-star series. It's my favorite series ever. And then I'm also going back to my comfort author, who is Stephen King, reading his work because his work just gives me a certain feeling that it's just a comforting feeling that comes with his not maybe not his writing as a whole, but with his style of writing, his stylistic choice in writing is very comforting to me. So yeah, I don't want to keep you here too long, but just, I don't know, kind of shooting the breeze, kind of just talking about being real and candid about being in this fog of like, dang, like I could read, but I'd really rather do something else. That's gonna bring us to the end of the video. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening, and most importantly, I hope you read a good book, and I hope you are not in the bookish fog. If you are, it's okay to be in a bookish fog. But with that, I'll see you when I see you.